down this. Give me one more night, got this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down this. Mama, you know I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave. Let's get down this. Drop it.
Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. The Power is Within podcast. Glad you could join us here today. And we are late as usual. One day we'll start on time at 6 p.m., but I just have a hard time getting everybody here. Kids like when I do that. So anyway, tonight's topic is going to be dating then and dating now. Which camera are we on, Frank? That one there? Let's move over to the straight one here, the one right in the middle. All right. So we're going to talk about, but first let's introduce our panel here.
Pauline, I'm 15.
I'm Brado, I'm 15.
I'm Claude, I'm 20.
I'm Henry, I'm 18.
And, of course, you know, I'm Mark. I'm 19. If you believe that, I'll buy some land from you in Florida, right? Some swamp land. All right, let's go. All right, so how has dating changed over the years? People ask. Dating has changed a lot over the course of history, and while technology has certainly played a role in that, societal roles have also shifted and given way to more freedom, self-expression, self-experimentation when it comes to getting to know a potential partner. I read some, okay. What was dating like in the 1900s? Things changed in the early 1900s when gentlemen became the ones who initiated a relationship. A gentleman would come to a lady's house, this was a long time ago, where their first date took place. A woman was necessarily accompanied by a chaperone. Their further dates were held in the same way until they felt a romantic interest in each other. Do you guys know what a chaperone is?
Someone who watches over, nowadays, someone who watches over somebody, over the dare dance or something like that.
Yeah. We had chaperones still when I was a kid. I would occasionally hear of someone chaperoning, but not so much on a date. But we still used them. I haven't heard anything of a chaperone lately except for the dare dances and things like that. But used to be, but that was even before my time, dating. Back when we was young, we had dances and different things we would go to, and that's where we would meet girls. But now you guys don't, other than the dare dance, you don't have any kind of unless you go to a club. But they don't have any dances at halls or anything like that around here, do they?
No.
I mean, where would you guys go? And that's why I say it's kind of rough being out here. Where would you go if you wanted to dance? A house party? It'd have to be a house party, or what would it be?
Well, out here where we live in Troy, there's really not many options at all.
You have to go out of town.
Yeah. You would. I mean, Claude knows. Me and Claude have been to the club with Mark.
Yeah.
It's like dare dance, but for older people.
Yeah, you gotta pretty much go to the city to find something to do that involves dancing there.
So what is it, under 21 club, or what is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. You could pay, what is it, 30 for someone who's older, depending on the night?
Yeah, depending on the night. Sometimes it doesn't cost a lot of money, but if there's a special DJ, it will cost a little bit more.
A little bit more, yeah.
Well, even when I was younger, I remember going on a date one time. I never really went on too many dates. I would meet people places, or we'd be at a party or something, and we would go out from there or do something from there. But as far as the traditional, I'll pick you up at your house, I might have did that 2 or 3 times, but it never seemed to end very well.
I've never been on a date. Well, I guess you could say a real one. I've been to the movies before, but usually when I'm at the movies with a guy, they always try to do stuff with me, and I tell them no, and they get mad. So that's...
What can you do in a movie theater? Oh, I don't want to know. Sorry I asked that question.
Yeah, to find a place to dance, there's not much around here. But there, besides clubs, there's this one place you can go to where people will dress like in the 1900s and all that sort of stuff, and they'll dance like how they used to, like back in the day. It was pretty cool. I seen it.
Yeah. Well, something else I've noticed too is a lot of young people aren't very interested in driving. So to take someone on a date, of course, usually you have to drive to their house and pick them
Yeah.
up.
I know a lot of 16-year-olds that are 17-year-olds that just have their parents go pick up like their girlfriend and then they hang out at his house or something.
Well, do you think that's because you can just talk to your friends on a telephone and
Yeah,
I think one of the main things too is like if you live in the city, you could pay for an Uber
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you don't
to
have
pick them up
drive.
and then drop them off or like to where they need to
Yeah.
go. So
But you guys, though, don't you? Let me see. Back when I was younger, if you couldn't drive to pick a girl up, or if you didn't have a car, it kind of made you feel a little less than, or she actually wanted a guy who had the independence of having a car, the status of having a car, and being able to pick her up and take her on. a date.
Yeah.
I realize in the city you have public transportation, so maybe that's. But I would still think that would make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the
I
name?
mean, obviously, unless you had her picked up in a limo, that might be.
I mean, what's
that
up
might
with
be
you,
better
Bretta?
than-
Like you're old enough to get your permit license?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
can get
sure.
my permit, but I just haven't taken the test yet.
So, what would you feel like if you had to go pick up your girl when you had your license?
I would do it.
You would do it?
It seems fun to drive. It's
Mhm.
better than sitting in the house all day.
Right.
No doubt.
Yeah, we couldn't wait to get our license. I went the day I turned 16. They didn't give it in my town, which is here in Troy, and I went to Bowling Green and took it because we want to drive. But most of us were driving before we were ever 16, kind of like Frank over there. So
Well, me and Henry always used to go on drives.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it. Just cruising and listening to music.
So I
yeah,
got in trouble.
Yeah, now, like going on a date is less common now that people have relationships over the phone.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
like that's the thing. Like you would say, going on a date isn't as common as it is nowadays because there's this thing that people have called sneaky links, where they
Yeah.
and Paulina knows that
Yeah.
this is kind of
Sneaky
a,
links. Huh?
where you sneak
So
out
you
and
link up with somebody.
Yeah, with
like
somebody.
You get together
Ah.
with somebody and you make it a secret, but it never really actually turns into a secret. Everybody finds out because girls like to, I guess you could say, flex that they have a sneaky link, and then they'll say the person's name, so it doesn't even turn into be a secret. It's public. It's like a
just
public link.
It's a link.
it's
linking
it's
it-
very
linking up
it's
with
very
somebody.
common nowadays, especially with their generation. I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Sneaky links. Huh?
Hmm.
Well, is that like an app? No. It's
No.
just
No,
something
no,
you
no.
guys-
I mean,
It's just
something
I mean,
you
you
guys
can
say.
you can talk to the person over an app, and then like you guys link up. Either he comes and picks you up like in the middle of the night, or you go to his house in the middle of the night. Y'all do stuff, and then you never end up talking again.
In the moment, it's sneaky.
Well,
But
it's
then-
sneaky,
One time for
and
one
and then the
thing.
link is you all meeting up, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the excitement of it with nobody knowing is fun, you know.
Yeah.
But then if everybody knows, there's just no
Yeah, and
excitement.
then people start finding out about it. So it's kind of like something you can't really keep a secret. You just
Mhm. And it doesn't become a sneaky link.
Yeah,
no,
there's-
it
yeah,
just
there's
becomes
no-
a link.
There's no dating in that. You just link up with somebody, you know, you do the deed, and then you're out.
Yeah, and then sometimes people continue to do it, but other times people just do one thing, and then that's it.
Okay, I put in here, how has social media changed dating? And the number one thing came up here. Social media hasn't only made meeting new people easier, it also become a source of sex and love addicts to feed their compulsion. Or a source for sex and love addicts to feed their compulsion. The anonymity and endless scope of the internet enables addicts to search for other singles and find explicit content. Yeah, any kid with a cell phone now has got access to things that I didn't even dream people did or existed. That's for sure. Contrary to my dad's Playboy books that he had in the magazine rack. They were pretty mild compared to what is on now that you can get in touch with.
Well, can I say?
Go ahead.
Speaking of which, there was this famous girl who sang and everything. Her name was Billie Eilish. She said that pornography messed her up when she was growing up because of the fact that it taught her things that she thought she needed to be. You know,
yeah.
and pornography has been a lot of major things that has messed a lot of children up. They think that being
There's a certain way.
there's a certain way to do it, and
there's a certain way you have to look in order to be able to do stuff like that, or I mean, coming from a girl, it is very true that influences a lot on little girls' lives. Like, not little girls, but like maybe girls in their teenage. It kind of affects them a lot, but
OnlyFans.
like OnlyFans, yeah, OnlyFans does. A lot of the girls now, they want to grow up and become strippers, or want to grow up and be on OnlyFans or start porn because they think they're going to get so much money for it. Because you do get a lot of money for it, but what they don't realize is doing that over and over just for the money, it doesn't value you. It puts your value more down.
Devalues.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Cardi B got the Woman of the Year in that, what's that one magazine or
WAP.
something? Yeah, she got the Woman of the Year for that.
It's a G, or it's not GQ. It says no.
I just read it last night, but I forgot. But the point is, it's like she's pretty, let's say, explicit. I don't want to cut anybody down, but she's very explicit and brazen. So they put her up as an idol or someone to admire, to look up to for younger women.
Like a role model.
Yeah, like a role model. So I mean, I really don't want her to be your. I mean, everybody's free to do what they want to, of course, but I don't want you to look up to her as a role model.
I think honestly, a lot of parents don't want their kids to be so explicit, especially when they get older, because
Bless you.
parents want better for their kids, like maybe being a business or a mom or something like that. As someone explicit isn't a good role model for girls our age.
Music has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah.
Like a lot
Well,
of.
we had the same kind of music back. We had explicit music that had
Yeah.
messages. Because I listen to your guys' music and I think, man, that's some pretty blatant stuff. Then I guess I get to listening to some of my old songs, and they were pretty blatant too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they're pretty blatant too, but nowadays it's so accepted. So there's guys over here talking about, I want my girl to be big in the buttocks area, I guess you would say. I want them to be big in every area, and I don't care if she doesn't love me. I'm gonna have sexual intercourse with her, I guess you would say.
I can see where the sex is more pushed
Yeah.
nowadays than actual intimacy or any kind of a relationship, because dating originally, when it started back in the 1920s, I think, you date to get to know a girl so you can have a relationship with her. But even, what is this, like, what's that one, is it Tinder?
Tinder,
Is
yeah.
that
Yeah.
known as what they call a
It's a
hookup
hookup
app?
app, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means, hookup means you just get together and have sex.
Yeah, and that's
It's
it.
not-
There's no.
Yeah.
I mean, there can be connection there
Right.
afterwards, but for the most part, it's more of a you meet up, you have sex, and that's it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no connection, emotional.
The
or
difference
anything.
between Snapchat and Tinder is Tinder's local women around
Yeah,
you,
and
so
that's-
it's a lot
yeah.
easier to
Well,
hook
at the
up
same
with
time
them.
too, Tinder is more of a look at the girls that are around you, and Snapchat is more the girls that you have already.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
right.
But what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just thinking how different that is, because, I mean, there were guys and girls, of course, back when I was dating that knew they were going to get together and have sex, but it wasn't publicly advertised. Like, oh, just get on this site and you can meet girls and you guys are going to hook up. So you had to like go over to the east side to Pops and Soj over there at the well, Pops is not a club, but what was it? I forgot what they were called back then, but they were the strip bars. And actually, there is prostitution over there. I never experienced any of it, but my friends told me it was. But that's where you had to go if you wanted to have something like that.
Yeah, nowadays you don't like. Nowadays it's less common for you to like walk up to a girl and talk to them. Now all you got to do is go to an app and talk
Yeah.
to them and then meet up.
Well, and, yeah, like, I don't mean to cut you off. It makes it easier for guys nowadays to just kind of text a girl, and if they get denied or whatever, the rejection is easier.
Yeah, because you have the buffer.
Yeah.
It's just a message. Or, I mean, I've met a lot of girls online, and the girls out of the country, like in Colombia, and they'll talk to you. But the girls here in the U.S., it's like they'll message you, but when it comes down to, hey, let's talk FaceTime or something, because you want to meet. I want to meet them before, because they have so many filters. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to a beautiful girl by messaging, and then when I get her number and then I see her, it's like not even the same person, or she's the same person and her personality is. Well, I don't like her personality. So and even then, I met a girl one time, as I told you guys. I even met her online. I talked to her just a few minutes on the camera. She seemed okay, but when I met her, as soon as she walked in the room, I didn't like her. I mean, I went in and had dinner and that, but there was no chemistry, I guess, because there was just something about her. But she looked good. She looked as good as she did, but we just didn't click. So until you really meet them, I mean, but I really think that talking to them on camera is the best thing you can do. I really don't want to meet a girl unless I've talked to her on camera. I mean, if it's close, yeah, like if I don't have to drive 10 or 15 minutes, that's okay. I'll take a chance. But how many times do they, and something else you have to do too is I have to ask them, will we go stand in front of the mirror unless they do a swimsuit shot. What they don't realize is men are attracted by the way they look. Or maybe they do realize it. I want to see what she looks like. Now, if I were talking to her in person, I could look and see what she looks like. Okay, but as it is, a lot of times I say, hey, just show me a picture of your full body in front of the mirror. Some of them don't like that, but it's like, I want to see what you look like. But a lot of girls just post their heads.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what you look like. And in the U.S., if they say athletic, 9 times out of 10 means they're overweight. Now, in Colombia, if they say athletic, that means they got ab muscles and they're tight. They go to the gym and they work out. So completely different standard there. But still, even there, I want to see what the girl looks like because I'm in shape and I'm attracted to a girl who's in shape. And here in the U.S., it's different because we have like a 70 to 75% obese or overweight of our population. I mean, if you like heavy girls, that's fine. It's just not what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like nowadays they have all these filters that they could put on their body to make them look fit. Compared to back in the day, you had to make a phone call if you seen the person, in person.
I didn't know they had filters to make your body look.
Well, not only that, they have
filters to make them look. It could make them look slimmer in their face, or
and there's also called.
That's amazing.
There's a thing called Facetune where it's like literally a 5-second thing. You just click a button and it makes your body slim and it makes the background.
I didn't know that either.
And it makes the background not look like it's even there. But the thing is like I showed you the face filters. It slimmed my nose out, and it made my cheekbones a lot bigger and my chin a lot smaller. I didn't
See,
look
I don't
like
understand
myself.
the concept because I mean, unless they never plan on meeting the person, because why would you put that on there unless you're just wanting that validation attention electronically because you have to meet the people eventually. When I was out dating, 9 times out of 10, if you're going to go be with somebody, you've seen them in person before you ever. So that give you an idea what their personality was, or even if you've seen them from across the room, you could watch their interactions with other people and determine whether you were interested enough to go over there and see her. And she may give you some IOIs, they call it indicators of interest, where you know she's attracted. Maybe she looks at you once in a while. You know she's attracted to you. But with the online, and two, when you're communicating with someone online, it's just so, I mean, it's amazing now. I'll talk to girls, and I'm very direct and straightforward, and they're not used to that up here nowadays. And a lot of them get pissed off, and they're like, you're awful rude. And I'm like, no, I'm just very direct.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they think because I don't.
A lot
I
of
ask them
guys
for
are way
things.
too scared to be direct. I mean, I'm friends with a couple, like, not really friends, kind of accomplices with a couple of guys in my school. Like, I'll be in class with them, and they'll just be straight up with a girl, and she gets so offended by it because she's used to all these guys simping over her. But me, on the other hand, I'm used to both, mainly because you guys are very straightforward with me, so I'm very used to another guy being straightforward with me, so I really don't care. But I'm also used to guys simping over me, so it's like I'm not going to freak out if someone's like, oh, well, you're ugly, or oh, you really don't look like
Right.
that. Like, I'm not going to freak out about that because I look the same as I look in my pictures. I don't use filters, and if I do use a filter, it's like a black and white filter. But that really doesn't change anything. It just changes the colors of the screen.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
Here's something else, too. I was talking to a girl yesterday, and she didn't have a body pic on her. I said, so I straight out said, okay, how about this? She said she had slim on there, or I can't remember if it was slim or athletic. And she didn't look like she was overweight, but I prefer girls that are like in shape, like I talked about the Colombian girls who actually have, you can see their stomach muscles.
Yeah.
They're like, I compare them to a sprinter. The way their legs are strong, I like that. Probably because my mother was very athletic, so I'm attracted to that in a woman. But I asked her, I said, okay, if you and I were naked and I was with you, I said, would I like your body? And she said, she just made a couple of jokes and said, well, yeah, of course. She says, you want me to prove it to you? And I said, sure. So on this site, you can actually put, you can send a photo. So I thought she was going to do that, but she said, give me your number and I'll send you some photos. No, first she says something about, well, if you want nudes, I said, and that's something girls always think you want, not always, but a lot of times they think you want nudes. I said, no, I don't want nudes. I just want to see what you look like. If you have a photo in a bathing suit, swimsuit, that's fine. I just want to see what your body looks like. So anyway, she sent me several photos, and she was not fat, but she was soft. So I wasn't attracted to her. I said, you're a little soft for me. And she says, what do you mean by that? And this girl was really, had some character. I said, well, it looks like you need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And she
I
said,
mean, yeah.
that's just my opinion. I said, don't take it personal. I said, I'm just very picky. And she says, oh, well, I definitely don't need to go to the gym, but something about, okay, good luck, wish you well. And I said, likewise, and that was it. So, but I've been in similar conversations with other girls, and they get pissed off. I mean, so I don't want to be like a lot of the girls. They just go. So I just tell her straight, well, I'm not interested, or you're not my type. But a lot of times they're so used to simps, as we call them, just fawning all over them when somebody like me doesn't accept them or tell them they're beautiful, which I don't tell girls online they're beautiful or what. They know they're beautiful. They know I'm interested or I wouldn't be talking to them. So, but the point is they're so used to that when someone like me comes along and just says, well, you're not my type or you're a little soft for me or whatever, they get offended. But I was really impressed about this woman because she was really educated about it. She wasn't offended, and we just parted ways. I mean, she didn't ask me for my photos, but if she would have, and I had sent them, but she wasn't interested. I saw somebody posting today, one of the guys that I kind of correspond with that is a dating coach. What was he talking about? I about lost my train of thought. What did he say? Oh, he was talking about, and I don't agree with this. He said, well, something about being in shape and girls liking looks. Of course, looks are more important now because you're meeting so many people on apps. So if you don't look good, you get swiped. I guess swipe is tender. You get swiped and they never, which that makes sense because you don't have a chance to show your personality so much. So he was saying as long as you look good with your shirt unbuttoned. But I've found out that many times women are turned off if a guy has a photo with, like, I mean, I got a six pack, I'm ripped, I'm in good shape. They're not men are attracted to a woman if she's in a swimsuit or something, but a man, they're not seem to be as attracted to that. Like, let's say you posted two photos, one with a suit on, one with your body, you're in good shape, you look good. I find the girls are more, they're not attracted to that, or that doesn't, how do I say? It doesn't.
It's not like as.
Is that right?
Visually appealing as
Yeah,
it is
it
to a
doesn't-
man. Yeah.
They don't get the same response from that from a woman
Yeah,
as
as
a
it would
man,
me, yeah.
as a woman would from a man
Yeah,
if she had a
yeah.
bathing suit on with or two-piece and something like that.
Yeah.
And she was in good
And that's the
shape.
thing. It's like one of the things I've noticed that like these guys are like, oh, it's a double standard. They get pissed. Like they get angry about it. Like they're like, oh, okay, so how? Like the difference is a guy could post a pic with him with a work shirt on and his chest is popping, but he doesn't get as much views. But a girl does the same thing. She gets all these views. What the heck is that? And these guys get mad and everything like that.
Well, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, a lot of girls and a lot of my friends have told me this, and I mean I kind of agree in a way. Whenever a girl's looking at a guy's pictures, she looks at his hair and the way he dresses,
I believe that's true.
Because-
They want to unwrap him.
because that
Yeah.
to us girls that gives off a lot. The way that a guy dresses, especially depending on the way the guy dresses, tells us a lot about how he's going to act towards us.
You guys hear that out there? Listen, it's true. Always dress well. I always dress well. Very important. You're the package. Why don't you? When you get a Christmas gift, isn't it nice when it's wrapped up? It's got a pretty bow on it. You're that Christmas gift. So remember that. She looks at you like that. She wants to unwrap you. Okay.
This is
Yeah.
kind of like off topic, but
Well, then what the hell are you doing?
so I was scrolling through TikTok or whatever, and I saw this post this girl posted, and it was about guys cheating. And so I commented on it, and I was like, all right, so what do you think about girls cheating? Well, it's different. She made a whole video on it about, oh, well, the reason they cheat, it's not really all about emotion. They just feel like they're not getting what they're supposed to from that guy.
Everybody's
And
got
I'm
an
like,
excuse, I
okay.
suppose. Yeah.
So I kept listening to it or whatever, and then she's like, well, when a girl cheats, it's different emotionally than when a guy cheats.
I
A guy
agree.
cheats because,
It is different.
yeah, she says a guy cheats because he just wants,
Yeah, sex.
yeah, but when the girl cheats, it's emotional. You
Yeah,
know,
she's
it's
Well, she wants
different.
attention.
She's more involved in them, really,
Yeah.
actually.
Because it takes a lot more for a girl to
And
have sex
and
than it does for a guy.
Most of the
Before
time,
that,
in general,
Most of
yes.
the time.
Before they cheated, they were talking at least months before that or weeks before that. She cheated on him with that guy. They were
Okay,
guaranteed
so-
talking before that.
So if you're dating, as far as I'm concerned, if you're dating and your girlfriend is talking to other guys, and why is she talking to other guys to
Yeah,
start
but
with?
she-
I mean,
yeah.
but that's become a common thing now. If you don't allow or if you don't agree with your girlfriend talking to other guys while you're dating, let's say you're dating. I mean, if you're not exclusive now, then it's none of your damn business. But if you guys are dating and you're kind of steady, then she has no business talking to other guys. Because what is she doing that for? Those guys want to have sex with her. But now it's come a thing that we didn't have this so much when I was younger, that all these girls got guy friends, they call them. And if you don't like that, men are territorial. It has nothing to do with jealousy. Then they say you're insecure, you're controlling, did somebody hurt you? No, it's just the fact that if she's out talking to other guys or hanging around with other guys, you're not there to protect her. And she says, well, you have to trust me. Has nothing to do with trust. Women have a tendency to get themselves in situations that are dangerous and they can get hurt. I mean, it's always been the way it is. Women need a man to protect them. Although a lot of women in the U.S. say, no, I don't need no men. Well, they don't need men because men have built an infrastructure and a system where women are safer than they ever were. But that's built by men. If the men disappeared, the women would be in trouble. But that's a whole other topic. Back to dating.
Yeah.
So, but when a woman, back to dating, as far as that goes, when a woman goes out with a man, she wants to feel like that she's protected with him, right?
Exactly.
Pauline? And she doesn't want to feel like she's in danger, that she's not safe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you go ahead, if you want.
That's all.
Okay, but like, yeah, obviously, like, she doesn't want a guy who's just gonna be like, oh yeah, go hang out with your guy best friends. You know, if they kiss you or whatever, it's okay. You know, I can understand. A girl doesn't want a guy like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want my girl out running around with a bunch of guys. I mean,
Yeah.
my last ex, she had a lot of gay guy friends, but hey, they all got penises, so I mean, it's still.
Yeah, and that's the
like-
thing too. It's like I've noticed too.
That's
when a
bullshit, really.
when a girl has a guy best friend, the guy wants to be with her. He's not just her best friend, but he
Yeah.
wants to be her sexual
Given
friend.
the
you know?
opportunity, and I know young men, because I was in my 20s one time, they walk around, how do I say it? Erect most of the
Yeah,
time. It
and they-
actually sounds worse than a hard on. But anyway, yeah, erect most of the time.
Yeah.
So, given the opportunity, if they're partying or drinking together, things happen. I didn't know, though I hadn't dated, well, there again, I had not dated for so long because I was married 12 years, raised you 20 years, I probably went without dating. So, coming back into this social media age and things have changed, like I said about these girls all having guy friends and all this, I just kind of rolled with it because I wasn't sure, but as time went along, it just doesn't work well. And I am about one of the least jealous people there are. I'm not, everybody has jealousy, it's instinctual.
Yeah.
But I'm not the kind of guy, I mean, if I'm out, we talked about this before, if I'm out and some guy whistles at my girl, hey, that's fine with me,
Yeah.
she's with me. I mean, unless he's rude and comes up and does something, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I mean, it's a compliment to me if people are looking at my girl. I know there
Yeah,
are some
she's
guys
attractive, yeah.
that get pissed off at the girl because guys are looking at her. But looking back in retrospect, in my last relationship, I was way too compliant and too lenient. I tolerated a lot of things, like I said, out of ignorance because I didn't understand this whole social media world and the different things. It's just a whole different deal. I mean, these guys that are messaging your girl, they want to have sex with her. Some of them are even making offers to her. And I watched on Fresh and Fit, and I think they asked 6 or 7 girls on there, and I think all but one said if they had a choice between Instagram and their boyfriend, they'd take Instagram. And that's
Yeah.
nothing. That's nothing much for most of these women, but a dating site, a place for attention and validation.
Well, and like we were talking earlier, like these men, like you said, you were thinking about, or you were talking about Fresh and Fit, the guys who were just trying to get validation. These are all young men too, who are hitting them up because they're thinking, like you told me when I was younger, they're thinking from down here and not up here.
Yeah.
You know, and they're hitting them up, and they're thinking that if they text them one time, they're gonna get like
I
this.
say they like their stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I had this one, not homeboy, but this kid I know at school. He, I don't know if he broke up with his girlfriend recently, but one of his actual close friends or whatever, he was talking to this dude's ex or girlfriend or whatever, and this dude was drinking prior to snapping or texting, and his girl actually sent the drunk dude nudes.
And that's a common
Yeah.
thing nowadays too, is people
Yeah.
sending nudes. That
Yeah.
was never.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is it's
that
like
was unheard of. Of course, we didn't have phones, but you could have took photos. But
Right.
Yeah.
nobody ever did that either.
And
I don't know the
that's
full
thing.
story,
The
but
dude was probably being more alpha than the dude she was messing with before.
Yeah.
She did it on
Probably.
purpose.
yeah, she was.
She did it to the
completely-
guy that so she did it to the guy that she wasn't with prior to.
I thought maybe she
Yeah,
accidentally said
so
No.
her boyfriend did not know about it until someone told.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Ah.
Like, and she's because what she's trying to do is she's trying to find. Well, like you've told me, she's monkey branching or something.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to find a guy that's better than the man she has right now.
So like homie hopping. That's
Yeah.
what me and Frank call it.
What do you call it?
Homie
homie
hopping.
hopping. Homie hopping is more like
Going
when
from one friend.
like
to
when you have a
guy's
girl,
friend?
yeah, when you have like a girl that you're messing with, and she goes, let's say she goes from me to Claude to Mark to Bretta to Frank. You know what I'm saying? She's homie hopping. Like she,
hopping.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions on their
No,
Frank,
she a
leave it.
groupie.
If anybody has any
Yeah.
questions out there in the audience, we'll be glad to answer them for you.
homie hopping was like very common back in. It started back in like 2016. There was
Yeah.
this one girl.
It was
that
probably like 2015 actually.
Probably. There was this one girl that was hopping from me to Mark to me and Mark, and then she hopped on Claude, and then she hopped from me to Mark, and then back to Claude, you know. And it's just like, but the
Yeah.
thing is, but it's.
I'm trying to think of what we would have called that back then.
Now there's
But the
such-
main thing is though,
Oh.
she's trying to
Can't say
find.
that word. Don't use that word. On
Okay.
The main thing is, it's like she's trying to find the alpha. She's trying to find the guy that she can be with, even though she's. I mean, she's trying to find the guy that's the toughest, you know. So she's
Yeah.
hopping back and forth,
Right.
which doesn't make it right, you know. Eventually, she's gonna lose that. What do you call it?
Interest.
No, but there's a word my dad has or says
value?
some. Yeah, their value, but there's a word for it when a girl has been with multiple guys.
Oh, well, they lose the ability to
Yeah.
pair bond.
So when she's hopping back and forth, you know what I'm saying, even though she's been with these, like, you know, when she's
Yeah,
hopping
according
back
to
and forth.
statistics, if a girl has a body count of double digits, her ability to pair bond to stay with a man is more difficult because she's more apt to just jump to another guy. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
there's also things like groupies. If you know what groupies are.
My
Sparty
don't know
commented.
that. What are you coming?
He said, "How to have good personality traits?" With
How
a
to
question mark.
I mean,
Oh,
It's a question. How do you have good?
I'll answer in a minute. Let Claude finish his.
like how that question he asked. I mean, I guess like do what you want to do, like follow your goals and your dreams, like that, and do things that you don't like to do. Do things that make you uncomfortable. That builds character.
Well,
that's how you
yeah.
have a good personality.
What was the question again?
How to
Well,
build
it
a
was
good
how to have
character
Good
trait.
person. Yeah, how to
Oh,
have
that's-
good. But I know Dad's got something really good on it.
No, well, yeah, but
Well, I was gonna say how Claude brought up. Don't change yourself for anybody. Keep the same personality. Don't put on a front, especially in front of females.
yeah, I agree. Be yourself. Well, the old "be yourself" does. People say it doesn't work, but the problem is they're not really being themselves because they don't know who in the hell they are.
Yeah.
To have a good personality, I say, if you don't think you have a good one, that's the issue to start with. But if you want a better personality, find someone that you think has a very outgoing, open, and a charismatic personality, and see what he does and imitate him. Not to be exactly like him, but try what he does and find the parts of that that work for you. That's really how we all change our personas, our personalities. When we decide we want to be somebody, we find someone who is good at what we want. In this case, would be probably socializing, maybe, because people who can socialize with many different people have a good personality. I can talk to anybody anywhere, but it's something I've learned through the years. Because if you take a genuine interest in people, that's what you have to do. You forget about yourself and think about the other person, because people are amazing and they all have a story. If you listen to it, you can really learn something. I met a couple guys on the airplane one of the time when I went to Guatemala, and they, two black guys. We had a wonderful talk. They were about the same age, and we were talking about the race crap back in the '60s and how things are better now. And they had a pineapple farm down there, so we're together about 3 hours. We had a wonderful conversation down there. I'll probably never see those guys again, but I was really, I'll say, I was blessed to have that conversation with those guys. It was really, and I don't know them, I have no idea, and they were good conversations also. But I was talking about them. I asked them about what's going on in their lives. Now you will run into people. Rarely, it's happened to me once. I was bidding a job and I was asking this guy questions, and he was a government employee, and he got all paranoid. What are you asking me these questions? I said, well, I'm just interested. It's like, but he had worked for I forgot what it was, some government branch. Anyway, so he was getting
CIA.
nervous. And I also had an ex-girlfriend. I would ask her questions. What do you want to know that for? Because she grew up in an environment of criminals.
Yeah.
So to her, it was like an interrogation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I talk like this all the time. And 99.9% of the time, people love it. Because who doesn't want to be listened to? I heard once they put on it might have been Carnegie. They put on They put out an ad to teach people how to speak and people how to listen. You know which one, they got more people speaking. But when you listen, he who listens controls the conversation. So when you're in a conversation with someone and you want to have a better personality, just open yourself up, take an interest in them. And that helps you develop your personality. It also develops a sense of strength in your will, because most people are just waiting until you shut the hell up so they can say something. They're not thinking about what you're saying. They're thinking about what they're going to say. And I've caught myself doing it. They're thinking about what they're going to say as soon as you finish instead of really listening. So a lot of times if you listen, and then when they finish, just pause and then reply like Frank. He's got something to say. Right?
Yeah. How do you okay, how do you so you said they don't know who they are. How do you find out who you really are?
What makes you tick?
Yeah.
What makes you happy? What makes you sad? See, what people need to do is contemplate. Contemplation is sitting down somewhere with all your dang phones and crap off, TV, no noise, no anything except the natural noises, and think about your life. Think about the situations in your life. Think about what's going on in your life right now. Who are you? Where are you going? What are you doing in life? What do you desire to do? These questions you ask yourself and you contemplate or you ponder these questions. This is how you discover who you are. Now, there's a difference between who you are. Like some people would say, okay, who are you, Mark? Oh, well, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a writer. I've written a couple books. I'm a painter. I'm a boxer. I'm a triathlete. These are all personas that I put on during my life. I was a child. I was a student. This isn't really who I am. Who I am is the desires and I don't know how to explain it really. It's really a tough question, but what we are is more of an essence than what we do. These are all things we do and masks we put on, because we can change this anytime we want to. You can be somebody else. People do it all the time. You can change.
Before you ask your next question, if you got one, Frank, I've noticed too with the people that, like you've explained, the people that are like you, like Sparty and Trey, when we go out, they have this certain energy towards them that they make people act differently. I remember when I went to Babylon with Trey, this girl had a bad attitude when she came up. She was serving us. She seemed kind of angry. But then after Trey talked to her, she was okay. She calmed down. She was serving us good and everything like that. And then Mark told me when they went out to the bar, he changed the room, or Sparty changed the whole room, like the whole.
It's called charisma.
Yeah, and he changed the whole room. This girl was looking at it. Mark told me this. This girl was looking at.
I didn't get to hear this story.
This girl was looking at Sparty and like Sparty was looking at her, and they kind of like twitch eyebrows at each other, and then Sparty talked to her or something like that. But when these guys have charisma and they have what they're doing, what they're supposed to be doing, they have that attitude or
right.
Like
it's not really something. I mean, maybe some people are born with it, but this is something you can develop. And the way you develop that is just by being an outgoing person. As I said, take an interest in other people. When you take an interest in other people, people take an interest in you. It's really rare for someone who will listen to people, who will go up and talk to other people. But everybody likes to talk. What's their favorite subject? Themselves. They want to talk about themselves.
One thing I was gonna ask you, and also a thing that I don't like about girls, like some girls, is when they hang out with my ex. Because it's like it's tough because of the fact that so last night the girl that I'm talking to now was hanging out with my ex, or a girl that I used to mess with, and she also knows another girl that I used to mess with a while ago,
Girls are ruthless. They'll backstab each other.
Yeah, okay. And then last night,
very competitive.
The girl that she was hanging out with was one of the girls that I used to mess with. She told her, she's like, "Oh, did you know that he used to be a thing with this other girl?"
Yeah, that's gonna happen if you're dating girls.
But then I told her, I was like, before you even assume anything or believe anything that she tells you, you ask me first. And she was okay with it. Yeah. She after she heard that last night, she asked me personally, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you. I was like, I didn't mess with that girl. I got nothing to do with her. And she's like, okay, so you're not claiming her? I was like, no, that's not mine. I'm good, because I didn't like the girl. I didn't like her at all.
Right.
One of the things. Are you done? My bad. I apologize.
That's one of the things that I don't.
One of the things that I've noticed when girls have hung out with other girls that have been messed around, I felt kind of, sort of, I guess you would say, threatened or whatever. Because of the fact that I don't know what they're gonna say, I don't know what they're gonna do or whatever. And if I'm messing around with a girl and I have an ex-girl telling her some stuff, I'm thinking, is she gonna tell her this? Gonna tell her that? But you kind of have to not care.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You really just have to just.
That's
kind
the
of
best attitude to take.
And-
I've had girls through my life say they've been with me, and I was never with them. I've had guys call me gay when I was dating girls. If you're out there, I have a friend that says if you are on the firing line of life, you're going to get fired at. The only way to avoid those types of things is to sit in your room and be a keyboard warrior. Just don't go out in public.
Well-
Because if you're out there doing something in life, people are gonna hate on you.
I have a question for you and Henry because you guys
hold
usually
on.
know this.
Before you ask the question, there's this guy named Drake. He has this thing called the 72-hour rule. If it doesn't bother you the first day, or it's going to bother you the first day a little bit. The next day it's going to bother you, like just kind of a little bit. But the next day, the third day, if it doesn't bother you as much, it doesn't matter because there's going to be somebody else out there that's going to mess up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And someone else is going to talk crap on you, so it's
Right.
okay.
Right.
So the question is, do you guys have an opinion on like if a girl hangs out with your ex? Do you have like a personal opinion on do you not like it or are you okay with it? Or?
Well, if she's your ex, I mean, it may make you uncomfortable, but if she's your ex, that's it. She's an ex. There's a reason they call it that. I've experienced that. Honestly, if it's my friend, if she's got, I'm not really happy about the breakup, but it happened. I just as soon should be going out with my buddy than somebody else. Really, why not? Why shouldn't he enjoy her or have something with her rather than somebody I don't know? So I've actually referred some of my exes to my friends. So, and I wasn't happy about the breakup, and it really wasn't. The only reason I broke up with them was because things weren't going good and I was being disrespected. So I wanted it to be different, but it wasn't. But actually, I almost referred somebody the other day to one of my exes, but I didn't do it because I thought, well, it's none of my business. I was going to give them her phone number.
So
I didn't do it. Though.
What was the question again?
What's your opinion on like your girl hanging out with your ex or someone you used to mess with?
Mess around. Okay, so mess around with. So my opinion on my girl hanging out with somebody that I used to mess around with, I mean, obviously I wouldn't get mad at her about it because she's going to hang around with who she wants to. But at the same time, too, whatever she hears from her is whatever she, is going to hear. But if she acts on it, that's on her.
Girls are very manipulative,
Exactly.
so I think that would probably affect and start an argument between
I wouldn't
you and your
suggest,
girl.
I wouldn't suggest hanging out with her.
I thought you were
know what I'm
talking about your friend hanging out with your ex.
No, my
Okay. Yeah, that always makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly, that's why, yeah.
I didn't know last night.
I was
got asked
mistaken.
a question. I didn't know how to answer it, so
Well-
I didn't answer it.
So I would just suggest that, like, my bad, I'm too close to the mic, that if your girl is hanging out with an ex, not to do it because of the fact that she's going to find a way to try to manipulate. If she still likes you,
Yeah.
if she
Bad-
still has some sort of
bad
and
combination.
usually most common, if your ex is trying to hang out with your girl, she's trying to
wants to sabotage
Go ahead, yeah, like
Well,
I know you
I'm
know.
just joking.
I've been in a situation where I was with one of my friends. Not gonna say names,
Yeah,
but I was with one of my friends and we became really close. And while me and she had just broken up with this guy and dated my ex, so we were dating each other's exes. And she was telling me like all this stuff. Oh, he cheated on me with this girl and this girl, so watch out. And it was like she was kind of giving off, I guess you could say, the vibes that she still had feelings for him because if she didn't, she would still be talking about it because
Right.
it had happened a while back. And she would sit there and talk about it. And then one day they got back together, like right after me and him broke up. They got back together. So I was kind of watching out. Instead of watching out for the people she told me to watch out for, I was watching out for her because it seemed like she wanted to get back together with him, and eventually that's what happened. So
Well-
a lot of girls like to sabotage relationships.
Well, when I was about 13 or 14, there was this one girl that I really, really liked. I think you remember her. It's the one girl that used
There's
to come.
been so many, I can't remember.
Yeah,
all.
there was this one girl that used to come over all the time. And there was this one girl that I used to really, really like. And I was dating this other girl. And she told me that I should break up with her. And I can't remember the reason she gave me, but I liked her.
I know, I remember who it is.
Yeah, okay. So I liked her so much. So I broke up with this girl to be with her, but then she wasn't with me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I got played,
Right.
I did. And it's like,
Girls don't want you to do what they ask
oh
you
no,
to do.
that's the thing. But they do that because they have like the control over you, and it's like they're trying to control you, but they have the control over you, so it makes them feel. And you give them attention, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, Paulina said it. Girls are very good at manipulating because think about this: for thousands of years, that was the only way a girl could get anything. I mean, until the last 60 years where women are actually, we'll say, empowered, where men have made it so women can actually have some more freedom and some kind of legal power and different kinds of power. But for thousands of years, if a woman wanted anything, she couldn't get it by brute force or by strength. She had to get it by manipulation or her femininity. And manipulation makes it sound bad. Let's say, let's call it persuasion. Is actually a little bit better word for it, because not everybody who persuades is a manipulator. And actually women could actually manipulate men into becoming better men. So it's a power which women have, which I think they've forgotten about these days with all the feminism and feminists, this empowerment. They have power. It's a feminine power. But the feminine in the U.S., it just gets pushed down like it's nothing, like it's almost something that they should be ashamed of, when in reality it is their inherent power.
Yeah.
But many women don't develop it because they're believing that they can become like men and accomplish and compete like men. But you really can't do it no more than the men can compete against women about becoming a nurturer and a child raiser and different things like that. We're just not made for that.
Yeah.
And women aren't made for the masculinity parts that the men play in the world today.
Oh, so what was the topic again? It was what
Dating.
Dating nowadays, but
Yeah, dating then and dating
okay.
now.
So one of the things too is like dating now. It's like if you find a good girl that's, and I'm not saying that all girls are bad or anything. If you find a good girl that's down with you, that wants to actually take care of kids and maybe would like to stay home, you could hold that girl down, But if you find a girl that wants to run around, just let her run around.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this too. And Paulina may comment on this for you guys out there in the audience. Never be the one. It's the girl's job is the relationship. So she's the one that you come up and say, she'll say something like, well, what are we? Or where are we going here? What is this? She's wanting you to be. She's wanting you. Yeah,
Yeah, God knows. Yeah.
The last time I was
that.
asked that was with an ex-girlfriend, and we broke up, and she kind of changed a little bit, and I went back with her, and the first time we was together, I said, well, what are we now? I said, let's just say we're lovers, because I wasn't going to jump back in on that. But the point I'm making here is when you're going out with a girl, she will be the one to bring it up if she wants to get into a committed relationship, and a man should always allow her to bring it. You shouldn't be the one, well, will you be my girlfriend? That's very... that's the feminine role, actually. The relationship is up to her.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, actually.
All right.
So, Henry and Frank actually know this. So, my girl is actually hanging out, well, not hanging out currently, but she's best friends with actually one of my exes. I'm not going to say names, but Frank knows, and I think you have an idea.
Probably. Yeah.
So, they hang out, and I'll go over there, and I'll even bring Frank, and he's actually, I can't say the F word, but he's effed with my ex, which I was cool with. That's cool, but I know she doesn't have any strings attached left with me, which is, in my opinion, is pretty good. Could be better, but I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on that?
Sounds like Peyton Place to me. You
Well,
guys don't know what Peyton
no,
Place is.
no, go ahead.
A drama, a romantic drama. The people are all in, the wives and the husbands are all intertwined, and everybody's messing around with this
Yeah.
one and that one.
I can't really. There's not really a question to this. It's just I kind of want to know your thoughts on what the situation is.
I think maybe
It's
that
just like a sticky situation.
Yeah, I think maybe if she's friends with your girl, maybe you said she doesn't have any strings attached. I think she might. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a little bit of sort of feelings toward you, and that's why she's trying to be. I mean, she might have been friends with the girl before, but I feel like there's still some sort of lovey-dovey
As
or
long
something.
as she's not sabotaging
Yeah.
you, I would just ignore her.
so far I haven't seen anything. I mean, I've seen her messing around with other dudes after like her
And
breakup.
if it became
routine.
a problem, I would say something to your girl about it.
Yeah, I would go to my girl about
Yeah,
it,
I would
but
say,
I was
hey,
just wondering what your thoughts on that
it's
was.
just- it could be a sticky situation, but as long as it's not causing a problem, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, but if anything does happen, I would say something to your girl, not in an insecure way. You may just mention something. Maybe you shouldn't spend less time with her or whatever. And then-
let me cut you off. Sorry. Another thing too, it's like we'll speak about it more off camera. But if you like to do what you do, and then she goes and says something to your girl, it can become an issue, and she maybe has some sort of feelings to you. So
I know for guys, when a guy breaks up with a girl, and I've experienced this, and you're not with her anymore, and she's out with another guy, we have a tendency to dwell on what you did with the girl, and is this guy doing the same things you did with that
Yeah.
girl when it comes to bedroom time? That can really haunt
Yeah.
a guy. It's really something
Yeah.
tough thing to get through.
I don't make but like that's the thing too, is it's like I know I've been with girls and then I've broken up with them, and then when they want to get back together with me, they've been with other guys, but I don't. For me, I think about what it'd been like for them to be with her with what I do with her. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
what I was talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
exactly what you were talking about. But
Yeah,
that's what you think
tough for
about. You know,
guys,
you
yeah.
don't think about, oh, this guy's nothing.
You don't
know?
think about him out on a romantic picnic. That's
Yeah,
like-
exactly.
For men, that doesn't bother us at all.
Yeah, but if you
But you think about what they're doing
Yeah.
in the bedroom. But for women, it's kind of the other way around. They think about
how much,
the
yeah.
the emotional attachment there. Is that correct, Paulina? In your eyes?
Say that again, please.
Okay. When you think about your boyfriend, if you like your boyfriend, and he's cheating on you, is the physical part bother you more, or the fact that he has an emotional connection? Okay, let's say your boyfriend went out and had sex with somebody. Okay, but let's say another boyfriend went out and spent the evening with a girl, and he come home and told you, "Yeah, I met this girl. I didn't do anything physically, but we just talked all night. We had such a good time.
Loved her to
we
death."
really had a connection." Would that bother you worse, or the guy that went out and he come home and he said, "Paulina, I hate to tell you this, but I had sex with another guy. I got drunk and I had sex with her, and I don't even know what her name is."
I'm sorry.
I honestly,
Sorry to tell you.
in my opinion, and I bet it's different for other females, I would take them equally, because if I was like kissing my boyfriend, probably the only thing I'd think about is the female he slept with, and
Right.
imagine if she looks
She's been around too many
and
boys.
and
that's what-
imagine if she looks better than me, or anytime me and him had like a deep conversation, I'd think about the girl that he had a deep conversation with, and he had a connection with her.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll say this from my personal opinion, or from with the girls that I've been. Most of the girls that I've been with, they've been more hurt from me being intimate with a female just by talking to her and just being
Right.
so attracted to her than me screwing around with
Yeah.
another girl.
I think for the man, the physical is a little more.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to that point, it's hard for us to handle that.
It's more of a, it's still a little different because I could sleep with a girl and my like the girl that I'm with could still love me, but she could sleep with a man and I wouldn't feel about her the same.
Well, with the women and men go out and have sex with a woman, but never talk to. They could cut all ties with them, and women they'll have an emotional attachment.
Well,
to
that's the
them.
thing, but I've noticed too. A lot of females have talked about before they have sex with the man that they're going to have sex with, they have already built up a sort of
Yeah, right.
conversation.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
They've already built up something, you know.
Yeah, that's why guys are freaked out. They break up, and the next weekend their girlfriend's out
Yeah.
with some guy, and it's like, how could she do that? She'd been talking to this guy for maybe a month or 2 months, setting it up before she ever left your butt.
Yeah, but for a guy, it's like you could meet a girl tonight, have sex, and then nothing. You're drunk
Yeah.
or whatever
Right.
it happens to be, and it don't mean nothing to you. But for a girl, she builds up something over time. It could be behind your back, or it could be whatever it happens to be. But like that's how they find their men or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I have to add on that topic.
Well, I had another thing we were going to talk about with the dating. What was it? I was thinking about. Okay, how do you decide? Let's say you're dating, and the girl says, "What are we?" And you say, "Oh, okay, we can be boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever." Okay, when do you decide that maybe things aren't going good and it's time to say next and walk away?
Okay,
How do you decide that?
I'll say from my personal perspective, I'll say I could have sex or be personally intimate with a girl, and her attitude, I guess, afterwards or even before would decide how I feel about her. Her attitude could be that, and that's the thing, like you said, guys can notice when a girl has been with a lot of men. If her attitude is after we have been together and get up and go use the bathroom, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to be with her because
Yeah.
obviously she's been with a lot of men, so she knows automatically to
She's
go.
hip. She's hip.
She's hip to go clean her, or maybe if she goes take a shower afterwards.
I know a lot of girls think that men don't notice that, but I've been with girls that have had no other men, and they don't just take their clothes off and jump in bed.
That's another
They
thing,
don't
yeah.
jump up right as soon as you're done having sex and get in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but these girls a lot of times think that they can hide. They come off as a good girl, and I'm not saying they're bad people because they do that, but when they want you to think they're a good girl, what they mean by that is they haven't been with very many men and they don't just sleep around. But a man that's, now, maybe some man that hasn't had any women, he can't tell, but a man who's had a few women can tell.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of signs that they put off that you can tell. And a man does not want a woman. I'm going to tell you from experience, I've been with women who had long-term relationships with women who have never been with anybody except me. I've been with long-term relationships with girls who've only been one or two guys, and I've had LTRs with women who have had more than 10 men. And the ones that have more than 10 men, they're hard to deal with. They don't want to cooperate. They want to do things their own way because they know they can just go jump on another guy. And that's okay. They may love you as much as they know how, but they want their what they call freedom.
Yeah.
And they feel like that if they're steady with you, that they don't have that freedom. They want to still live the single life, but they want the benefits of having a boyfriend. They want the protection and provision, or a husband, whatever it happens to be. Because they know they can just go get another guy because they've done it so many times. As opposed to a girl who hasn't been with anybody else or a few partners, they don't want to just go sleep around. My first long-term girlfriend had only been with, I think, one other guy besides me, maybe two, so that was three. But she broke up with me, or we broke up. We agreed. I wanted to date other people. And the next guy she was with, she's still married. That was years ago. I was probably 21 when we broke up. She's still with that guy today. She married that guy. And then my first wife, it was similar to the same thing. So there's an obvious difference, at least from my experience, and statistically it's proven that if you have a woman who's got double digits, it's hard for her to stay to pair bond with one person.
Well, I've noticed that too with me being the young, even with the youngest I am. I know there was that one girl that I was talking about earlier. She's been with multiple different guys, and even though she had a boyfriend, she had been with multiple different guys behind his back.
Yeah.
Now, his friends said that they both cheated, but I think they were just kind of trying to, I guess you would say, boost his ego or whatever, make him feel better about it. But nowadays, especially, like you said, like the main topic is dating nowadays like it was back in the day. These guys nowadays, they get simped out, and then they have the girls that go and run back and forth.
Right.
I know Bredo has. I've talked to him about it, and Claude knows. I've talked to him about it, and he's even experienced it with me. You know that one main girl?
Oh, yeah.
What's the word for her? The runner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know how she
Uh-huh.
jumped between. Okay, so she was like, oh, okay, well, you know, you've experienced enough. Maybe it's time for you to treat your brother like he did you. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And she
Yeah.
said that to
I
him.
heard about that.
And that was back in. She was in middle school. She was like, what, 12, 13, 14?
Like 13, yeah. Yeah. It
And
was,
Well, that's another issue, too. This is something I think women don't understand also is when a man is with a woman and they're dating, let's say, and they're steady, if she cheats on him, once she's with another guy, it's very difficult for her. I've never been able to stay with it. Once a girl was with another man after we broke up, or usually they were cheating before we broke up, I can be with her again, but it's just for sex. I can't be intimately, there's no trust. Once they betray you, and we see that as a betrayal, maybe they don't, but we do, it's like you can't open yourself up and bond with that person, or at least I can't.
No.
And when I've seen men do that, it's almost like they turn into simps because they're succumbing to something they really don't want to, because with men there's the issue of paternity. Now, just because we've had birth control since 1960 or 70, whatever it was, for thousands of years, men were concerned about paternity. I'm not sure what the statistics are on that. I could look it up, but how many men today are married and they have a kid? It's not theirs, but the woman has passed it off as the man's kid. And in today's society, if you are married and your wife gets pregnant, it's your kid, unless you want to go to court and have a test, a legal test, which used to be about $700, go through the system, which costs you several $1,000s, and prove that's not your kid. I mean, that's just so still, even though we have a way to prove paternity, and there's a woman's movement trying to get rid of that. Okay, even though they have full control of the birth, we're still liable for the child. So that's a big issue for men if he can't trust his woman. So once she's cheated on you, or you guys have been broke up because of whatever reasons, then knowing she's been with another man, there's an inherent feeling or intuitive thing within us that
like
it really kind of
biological,
repels us. That we don't, we'll have sex with her, but as far as bonding with her and mating to have children and move on in life, like we just have a hard time with that.
I mean, I know I had this buddy that he was messing around with this girl that had a kid, and there was just something about her having a kid that really, and he didn't hate the kid, but just the way he felt about the kid.
Right.
Not like he wanted just to like, hurt the kid, but just the fact that she had a child made him not like that,
Yeah.
And it got, just like me and him talked about it too. It's like how it is with lions. When lions have children, they kill them or they murder them or they, there's less of a likely chance to let them go.
And
Go ahead. Yeah, try.
We're still animalistic. I
Yeah.
mean, we call ourselves a modern society, but when it comes right down to it in wars and stuff, you got guys, they'll bite the guy's throat out if they have to. So when it comes down to the essence of who we are, we're very animalistic. We are evolving slowly, consciously. One day maybe we'll live in a world of love, but I think that's quite a few eons away. I hope we get there someday. I think we will if we keep evolving. But right now, what was it talking? I think Cobra Tate was talking about that.
Yeah.
If you let everything just go to hell, and what did he say?
Well, he said he said let put 10 men and 10 women into a boat, and then let's say they got stuck on an island.
Oh, yeah.
When it came down, if the men built fires, did everything they had to do,
They would go back to their animal instincts.
Animal
their
instincts,
yeah.
animal, and that's just because they
go
need
back
to survive.
Yeah.
They need to survive. So what it comes down to is women thinking that they can make it without a man. They're a strong, independent woman. They don't need a man. It's only because of the infrastructure and the systems men have set up.
And that's the thing. They've tested that even too on this show.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was like something. I think it was something like Bill Grylls, like something like, or I don't know, something like that. They made a show and they took, I think it was like 20 women, 20 men, and they put them out on this island, and the men survived better, and the women started struggling on the 10th day or something like that.
Yeah, and being in all fairness with women, without women, we couldn't perpetuate our lineage, or we wouldn't be here either. So we both need each other. But this idea that women can make it without men is just ridiculous. And the idea that men can make it without women, as far as evolving as humanity, we would die. So we each have our important part to play, but we can't, as men, be women, and women as women can't become men, and we're never going to be equal physically or emotionally. I'll never be able to nurture. I've said it before, as a woman can with a child. And are you getting sleepy here?
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I guess we're gonna. See, she's wearing out already. Look at her.
Yeah.
She's a weak woman. No, I'm joking.
No. Speaking of which, so
Joking.
before we cut it off, I seen this radio show, or I heard this radio show where this guy was asking this woman, okay, so if you went and got water from a lake, what would you do with it? What would you do? Would you drink it automatically, or what would you do? And she said, well, I'd just drink it automatically. Well, there's diseases in that, you know what I'm saying? There's things in there that's not good for you. So, and he's like, you would boil it, or from a like big lake, dirty lake and everything like that. And she just was getting angry and everything like that. But I mean, most people, and I mean, I would say from my personal opinion, most women don't know to, take the water and boil
They
it.
don't understand those.
For survival statistics.
I got a question. I don't mean to cut you off. Is
ahead.
it
You're fine.
Tom Lakis that you're talking about?
I could be potentially.
Yeah, is he older?
Maybe, I don't know. I heard it from a radio show, and it just
Because I seen that stuff on TikTok.
But the
all
woman
time.
was like, most women don't know, and maybe most men don't know because there's not a lot of adults, or there's just not a lot of fathers like you to teach them. Most men don't know that if you get water from a source that's not good, you want to boil it to the best you can to get rid of the bacteria and everything.
Yeah,
like
especially.
that.
I mean, if it's been setting like a lake, a lot of times in the late summer, you can't. Now, if it's in the spring and the water's running through it, you could probably drink out of a lake. Probably going to get some of the insecticide runoff from and the fertilizer. But I mean, when I was younger, you could drink from certain creeks, and there's still springs and creeks you could drink around from. Yeah, these are things like building a fire. And I'm not saying the women can't build a fire, but there's a lot of things that men just kind of inherently know how to do, or maybe they've been raised to do. They can do better than women.
Well, go ahead. Apologies. One of the things I showed you the video too. There was a video of a guy and 9 women who wanted to get these concert tickets. Right, all these nights there was one guy against 9 women, and they went throughout the whole night. So the guy boxed every single woman
To get the
concert tickets. Yeah, it was a contest. So to get the concert tickets, and he beat every single woman.
Yeah, he really
And it doesn't.
did.
The thing is, I mean, there just goes to show that. Okay,
And
so
they
you
were calling him. They were calling him names.
they were sitting there like degrading him. They were
But
telling
yet
him he's
these women decided they wanted to.
yeah.
do it.
And there was even a woman that was bigger than him, probably maybe even twice the size of him, and he still got the bigger,
Right,
the older
right.
overhand.
Yeah.
And he's going round after. I'm not saying he's doing it right after. Maybe he gets 15, 20, 30-minute break.
Yeah.
But he's still going after all these women. He won
Right.
every single time.
Yeah.
And
That doesn't
this is
surprise me.
this is an average man against 9 average women,
Right.
and he's won every single time. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't surprise me at
That's
all.
funny.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Thanks for joining us. Smash that like button now and subscribe. Do it now. Come back next weekend at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be here for you. And that's it for tonight.